Hi there, Glenn Povey from Geneva Studios here. I just thought I'd like to update you on the track Supernatural, which I've been working on for quite a while now. So I just want to show you how things are progressing with the whole song. So on the mix window, if I start the track off on the synths intro, I'm not sure about this bit yet. Originally, this was kind of like an Arabic thing, but I didn't really felt that it suited the song because it's more like rock based and blues scale and pentatonic and all that. So I tried to change it a little bit, not being Arabic, but something else. I'm still not sure whether it works. So the first part is so yeah. So that first part, the guitars I think coming in. So I'm gonna have to decide whether I'm gonna completely just leave out the keyboard part or just come in straight in with the drum beat or the guitar parts. So the verse part, what I've done with the verses and all the parts really, I've tried to record pretty much every guitar that I've got. So for example, if we go back to the mix window, so the mix window, you can see here I've got my Strat. That's my American Strat Deluxe on that track. My Gibson 355, Les Paul Traditional, Les Paul Classic, Van Halen, what is that guitar called? Frankenstein, and then a PRS, and then that was it, I think. So not all the guitars there, but most of them. And I just went through each part and tried each different guitar and tried all the different sounds. And what I've been aiming for is trying to get the starting off kind of like more sort of tonal, if you like, and a bit Fendery type that thing, and then building it up and gradually getting more and more rock throughout the whole thing. I'll just play you the first verse. I think that's the verse starts off on the Strat, which we'll see here. See that track going. So let's just go straight into the verse, and I'll do the riff after that as well. That's the first verse and riff. So that actually started on Les Paul traditional, was it? Yeah, traditional, and then went over to the 355. None of these sounds are set yet as such, as far as the guitar saturation and everything goes, because what I'm just doing is having, if I take the effects off that track of the Les Paul, for example, and just solo that, I'm just using the standard Pro Tools Sans Amp thing. What I did with this, I actually recorded it. I recorded 2 lines of each guitar. So one line is going into my Bugera amp, which is this side, and then out through the DI with the effect of distortion on it, some distortion anyway. And on the left channel, I went directly out of my effects pedals, Boss effect pedals, into here and record that as a clean track. So for example, if I take that, if I just take that, play that track first. Um, so that's with the Sans amp effect on. If I bypass that, you'll basically hear a clean sound. It's a bit unnerving to hear. And then I've also had a cab simulator on there as well. So I was just using the amplitude one, not using the amp because they sound way too distorted for me. But so just using some cab effects there. So if I take that out as well, bypass that. So now if I put this back on again and just solo the other side, the other track. Again, I'm using the amplitude, but this time, because the sound I got out of my Bugero amp was not quite distorted enough. If I'll just show you that. So what I did was I didn't want to put an amp on there, so I just put an overdrive on there, so just to give it a little bit more beef. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that side of the track yet, but the idea was with the left side is I like the idea of recording something and then you can change it later. So I'm going to be sending this track out to do some reamping later. So if you know what that is, that's basically sending a clean signal or a signal out of your DAW out into an amp and then get whatever sound they want out of that amp, then bring it back into the DAW, Pro Tools, and then re-recording that sound. So because I think this sounds a little bit too, because I want to get that general feeling of starting off sort of lighter and bluesier and then getting more rockier. I want to try and incorporate a bit more distortion as we go, so that's quite hard to do in one take anyway. So we'll see how that go anyway. That's my plan. So none of these guitar sounds are set yet. All I was trying to get here was just to get the performances right, so get all the editing right. So it's had a bit of editing the tracks. Some of it I've just been improvising and yeah. So the second verse and riff, I'll play that. I'm not sure. I think this time we do go over to the Strat. Let's have a look. No, I was wrong again. It's Les Paul traditional. Okay. Yeah, so that was kind of a mid position pickup now. So that's more kind of Jimmy Pagey type of mid-tone position, both pickups on. And then into the riff. This must be the Strat, I think. Then we're into another verse. What was that? Yeah, so we're back to Les Paul tradition again. I found that I done all of these in a whole take, and that was the guitar that most sort of suited the song, if you like. That one, so that's why there's quite a lot of that one. So let's just go to the next verse, and then I'll stop it. And then this bit wasn't actually on the original track that I recorded with Alan and Danny live, but I just felt that going into the midsection, was a bit too much of a jump. So this new part is a new part that's been added. So what I've done here is, I'll just play it to you first. So what I did there, this guitar part which is being delayed on one side, and so I've delayed it so it sounds more than it really is. It's basically, if I just play one track, it's this. Yeah, so that's all it is. But when I delayed it, some of it on the other track, you get this kind of effect. So then the middle section, which is the same as the live version, it's this. No, it's this. I've actually just noticed that I've missed a piece there on the solo. I've got to do that. So then the guitar tapping comes in. This was, this is a Van Halen type tapping situation going on. So I'll just play that. Just interested to hear what that is like, sounds like on its own. This is all I'm doing there. This is a little bit more flatter. There's no effects as such, no reverb or nothing. So how I did that, I tried to record that. It's all just on the G string. What I found, it was very hard not to keep hitting open strings. So what I've done, I've got a sort of a cheap, if you like, Fender Strat copy. I took all the strings off apart from the G and just played it all on that G string. So obviously I couldn't do that live, but that's how I got that nice and clean. So then we go into the first guitar solo. So that part you heard there that I let it play through, which I've now named the break, this wasn't here before. I've added this as well. As I felt that delay going on here, I felt that after guitar solos, there's a build up, build up, build up. Where do you go after guitar solo? Just to go straight back into the riff or the verse part just seemed a little bit non-eventful. So I thought, rather than try and do anything more, do something less. So I've done this kind of a break thing, just let everything hang out and chill out. Then we go back into the riff, which I'll play through the riff and the verse again after that. Yeah. And then we're now into, you can see that was again mostly the Les Paul traditional there. The second guitar solo, or third if you include the tapping. Yeah, so there has been some editing and mixing going on roughly just to get the rough idea. So the end part there, which I'm calling Fallout, which is kind of a Jimi Hendrixy kind of wah-wah effect going on there. Which side is the wah-wah on? I think it's that side. Yeah, so you can see this was, didn't actually play this physically. I've done it through through the plug-in here. So you can see, I'll just play that part again. You can see what I've done there. I did edit it a little bit in Pro Tools, but basically it was this. So that's the track so far. I'm quite happy with how it's come together, really. And it's all developed. Obviously, it's not finished yet. It's going to take a little bit of mixing and everything else. As far as the bass go, it's interesting with that. I did contact Alan to try and get him to put bass on it, but as yet he hasn't got back on me. So I did struggle with getting that down. So what I used his original bass track. If I just go into my edit window, that was his original bass line. It was a very poor recording. I had to rip it off. One of the tracks of a desk mix, which was crazy. Anyway, if I just make that track active and just solo that, you'll hear what the original track that he's doing is. So that's all I had to work with. So what I did was I used the feature in Pro Tools where you can convert audio to MIDI. And it done it pretty well because, just going back to the edit window again, mix window. Although it didn't get, so I'll go to the MIDI window now. Although it didn't get everything right, it was mostly there. And all I really had to do was just quantize it a bit and then just fiddle around. There's a couple of bends that Alan did there I had to do, which I've never actually done in MIDI before. Pitch bend, doesn't sound too bad. And I used the plugin, this one, which is Modo Bass 2, which is not too bad really, considering. which I'd love to have real bass on there, but as things go, we may have to settle with that now for the moment. So if I just play you through some of the, actually I'll play you through the whole track from the beginning, and what I'll do is I'll put Alan's bass, but this version, so you can see it playing through. What I like about this, you can actually see the notes down here being played. It's not where you would actually play them, because I think he played it more up here, this area, in the C area, B. So it's sort of like skirting around here, but hey, okay. I'll just play it anyway from the beginning. I'll just go straight into the verse, the whole thing. yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, I'm going to try and get it out as soon as I can, but not until I'm happy and ready with it. I've got to get all the mixing done. I've got to do all the reamping here and see what happens in the next time round. So, yes, I hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe if you do. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.